Hi, I'm going to do a quick review on this watch. This is the Rolex GMT Master 16700. It is often referred to as the GMT Master 1 series. This watch ran up till 1999. It ran from basically 1988 to 1999. It has a caliber 3175 movement. The GMT Master 2 ran alongside this watch, so when you were shopping between these two, you would decide whether you wanted to be able to, or how you wanted the GMT function to work. This one is more of a traditional quick set with pulling the crown to position 2. You would set it just like Rolex Submariner of any generation. You just do the quick set feature, whereas the GMT Master 2 16710 of the same time, you would pull the crown at 2, but instead of doing the quick set, you would rotate the hour hand every 2 times. It would change at 12 o'clock it would adjust the date. So a little bit different, but then that allowed you to use that to set your GMT features, whereas this you're just using this to adjust the bezel to set the time variances, the differences between cities. It might be a nice option for people to look for pre-owned, given what's going on with Rolex's availability with sports models. I know a lot of people out there seem to be getting frustrated that Rolex is either holding back or there's all kind of speculations of what's going on out there. But ADs just don't have, sports models in stock. I called, just out of curiosity, I called 1 or 2, and they absolutely have nothing, and they have no. They'll put you on they'll put you on a wait list, but God only knows how long that's going to take. So I think that's where, if you can open your mind to maybe shopping pre-owned, there's plenty of these out there. You can choose between this, the GMT Master 1, or the GMT Master 2 of any generation, basically, or time frame. So this particular one is a W serial code, and it dates back to 1995. And the Jubilee that's on it is the 62510H. Now, in the 90s, you had a little bit, it was different than the way it is now. Today, if you want, actually today, if they did have it in stock, the current production GMT Master 2 are only available on Jubilee. So basically, Rolex is not offering the option to, at the time of purchase, to swap bracelets like they did during this generation. This generation, according to the 1995 Rolex dealer card printout I have, you could have gotten one of 3 different bracelet variations. This bracelet, the Jubilee, which is a reference 62510H, or you could have opted for what you'll see more when you're shopping pre-owned. Out there in the market, you're going to see the standard Oyster bracelet with the standard clasp, which is a 78-360. And then, believe it or not, there was an optional bracelet that the Submariner had, the exact same bracelet with the Oyster flip lock and the dive extension. That's the 93-150. So don't get confused with when you're shopping pre-owned and think that parts were. Maybe one of the previous owners changed the bracelet to a Submariner, or from a Submariner. It is possible that if you look at the date code, that it is the original bracelet to the watch. So, don't get thrown by that. This particular one, it looks like one of the previous owners before I got it replaced the Pepsi, which this would have came with either a Pepsi or a black insert. This one has the Coke insert, which I don't mind. I think when I bought it, I was going to immediately change it, but I ended up liking it and just left it as it is. It is an original. The problem you run into with these, which is a pain now, is that if you want to change an insert, you can't just go to the AD and have them do it there, or just buy it and do it yourself. You have to send the watch in. And they will keep the old insert that they take off because of their policies. Same goes with the bracelet. If you bring it in with this bracelet, and let's say you bought this watch with the Jubilee 62510H, and you sent it in for the Oysters, like a 78-360 replacement, they will keep the Jubilee, which is just their policy, which irritates people to to no end, including me. You know, if you're going to do that, I personally would take off the bracelet and put on a leather strap. You know, the bracelets aren't going to be cheap, but if you really want to change the bracelet from how you bought it, that's going to be your only method. The insert, I don't know if that's as big of a deal. I mean, yeah, it kind of irritates to be able for them to keep your insert that you send it in with, but that's just their policy. So like this one, if I wanted to get the original Pepsi, I would have to send it in. They would keep this Coke one and send me back the watch with the Pepsi insert, just the way it is. This has a caliber, Rolex caliber 3175, as opposed to the GMT Master 2 of the same time frame production would have a 3185, and that's because obviously the movement's different because of the way you set the GMT function and adjust the date. Otherwise, you know, that's the thing with this watch is I want people to understand or maybe entertain the possibility, because I understand the frustration. If you've been shopping for one and you want to buy a brand new Rolex and you can't get it, and the wait period is, you know, there's no end date or there's no reasonable time that they're giving you, maybe you need to move or think about moving to pre-owned. You know, you buy a piece like this, which are starting in the $9,000 range. It's still going to appreciate year by year as you hold on to it. So, like with most sports models, you're not really going to lose any money. But again, I wouldn't treat a watch, even a Rolex, as an investment. You could do much better, well served, taking that same money, if that's what your intention is just to make money off of watches, to put it in some kind of a decent investment. Even with the given turbulent times we're having, you'd still fare better, I believe. So yeah, I just want to do a quick review, and I'll take it off the stand here so you can get a better look at it. What I love about this generation as opposed to the current one, and I'm more into the vintage or what they call slight vintage. I love the drilled lug holes with the fat 20 millimeter spring bars. I just love that look. And functionality wise, this watch not so much so, but if you were truly diving with the Rolexes of the 70s and the 80s, it was a valuable function with the Submariner, because it was easier to take some kind of pin or a paper clip, and you could just push the spring bars out and change it to like a nylon strap or something else. So it was functional, and I just like that look. I wish, at least they won't do it, but I wish some of their models still had the drilled lug holes. I love that look. So yeah, if you're doing it, you know, HQ Milton's a good source. It seems like Bob's Watches is pretty reputable. They got a good reputation. eBay is a little bit more of a minefield. I would say that if you're going to buy off of eBay a piece like this, to do your homework, make sure that the seller's got a high rating. You are somewhat protected to a point with eBay's policies, but you know, the burden of proof's on you if you get a fake or a watch with some parts that are aftermarket and not original. That's going to be kind of even more of a challenge of getting it sent back and getting a refund. I would, from what I understand. So, I bought this in 2014. I did buy it off a place in Minnesota through eBay. They were a reputable seller. I know my way around them. I actually service my own movements on my watches, and as soon as I got it, I took off the case back. And I have photos somewhere I took it of the movement. Even back then, when I got in 2014, they weren't, and I still don't think they are to this day, cloning this movement, the 3175. They're more interested in cloning the new movements of the GMT Master. So it is imperative that you do your due diligence to make sure you're buying from a reputable seller. If you're buying pre-owned, then that's probably the only turnoff for most people when they're shopping, when they're deciding to go the pre-owned route. Is, you know, are they getting authentic Rolex? But you know, that's where you got to do your homework and research and check the variances. This bracelet is not the original. This watch in '95 could have came with the Oyster. 78-360. It could have came with this Jubilee, or it could have came with a 93-150 Oyster flip lock from the Submariner. It looks like, based on the production code, I don't think you can probably see it by camera focus. This is like a 2000 stamped code production. So it looks like it was changed out. And it could very well have been because these Jubilees are notorious for stretch and wear. They will stretch really badly to a point where you can have them reconditioned nowadays, but probably back in the early 2000s, most were just going to the AD and replacing them because it wasn't that costly. And you can do the whole thing through the AD. You didn't have to send it in. They would probably order it, tell you to come in and pick it up, and they'd fit it for you. And it was a little bit easier to deal with versus sending it in. So, yeah, just wanted to throw this out there. And, you know, you can shop for this model, the 16710, or I'm sorry, 16700, which is this model, which is the GMT Master 1. And this is the last of that run that dates back to 1954 with the beginning with the 6542 that Rolex worked with Pan Am Airlines to develop. Or you can choose to go with the GMT Master 2, which will look very similar to this, but it'll say GMT Master 2 on it, the 16710. And case-wise, everything else is pretty much the same. However, it will have the different features of the GMT Master 2. So, yeah, if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and post them, and I'll try to answer them. Thanks, and please subscribe.